Several reasons explain the lack of seatbelt use among construction trades. Firstly, perceived invincibility plays a role. Construction workers often operate large, heavy vehicles, which can give them a false sense of security and invulnerability. Secondly, physical constraints contribute to the issue. Construction environments can be cramped and cluttered, making it difficult to properly buckle up or feel comfortable wearing a seatbelt. Thirdly, convenience is a factor. Unbuckling and rebuckling seatbelts can be inconvenient and time-consuming, especially when frequently entering and exiting vehicles. Fourthly, social norms can influence seatbelt use. In some construction subcultures, not wearing a seatbelt may be seen as a sign of toughness or independence. Fifthly, lack of enforcement can be a problem. Seatbelt laws may not be strictly enforced on construction sites, or workers may ignore penalties. Sixthly, disability fraud. The belief that getting injured in a vehicle accident can provide financial benefits through disability payments can also contribute to the problem. Seventhly, low seatbelt usage in the general population may also affect construction trades, with areas with low general seatbelt usage having construction trades with similar habits. Eighthly, cultural factors may discourage seatbelt use, with certain cultural groups or individuals having traditions or beliefs that discourage seatbelt use. Ninthly, lack of safety training is a concern. Construction workers may not receive adequate training on the importance of seatbelt use and its potential life-saving benefits. Tenthly, lack of awareness can also play a role. Some workers may not be aware of the risks associated with not wearing a seatbelt in a construction environment. The consequences of not wearing a seatbelt are significant. Firstly, increased risk of injury is a major concern. Studies have shown that not wearing a seatbelt significantly increases the risk of severe or fatal injuries in motor vehicle accidents. Secondly, liability is an issue. Employers and drivers can be held liable for injuries or deaths resulting from seatbelt non-use, especially if safety regulations have been neglected. Thirdly, financial burden is a consequence. Not wearing a seatbelt can lead to higher medical costs, lost productivity, and other financial consequences. Fourthly, premature death is a tragic outcome. Seatbelt non-use is a major cause of preventable death among construction workers. To address this issue, construction companies and safety professionals can implement measures to promote seatbelt use. Firstly, education is crucial. Provide training and resources to educate workers on the importance and life-saving benefits of seatbelt usage. This education should cover the physics of collisions, demonstrating how seatbelts distribute force and prevent ejection. It should also address common misconceptions about seatbelt use, such as the belief that they are unnecessary for short trips or at low speeds. Include real-life examples and testimonials from individuals who have survived accidents because they were wearing seatbelts. Discuss the specific risks associated with construction vehicles and work environments. Explain how seatbelts protect against secondary impacts within the vehicle, reducing the severity of injuries. Emphasize the importance of proper seatbelt fit and adjustment. Secondly, enforcement is important. Implement policies and enforce penalties for seatbelt non-use. These policies should be clearly communicated to all employees and consistently enforced. Penalties for non-compliance may include warnings, fines, or suspension. Ensure that supervisors and managers are trained to enforce seatbelt policies and address any resistance from employees. Conduct regular seatbelt checks at job sites and during vehicle inspections. Use technology, such as vehicle monitoring systems, to track seatbelt usage and identify areas for improvement. Thirdly, culture change is essential. Foster a positive safety culture that emphasizes the importance of seatbelt use. This involves creating a work environment where safety is valued and prioritized by everyone from management to frontline employees. Encourage open communication about safety concerns and provide opportunities for workers to participate in safety initiatives. Recognize and reward employees who consistently follow safety procedures, including seatbelt use. Promote a sense of personal responsibility for safety, empowering workers to take ownership of their own well-being. Fourthly, convenient solutions should be implemented. Provide accessible and user-friendly seatbelts in vehicles and work environments. Ensure that seatbelts are in good working condition and easy to adjust. Consider using comfortable and breathable seatbelt materials to improve worker acceptance. Provide training on how to properly adjust and use seatbelts. Make seatbelts readily available in all vehicles and work areas. Finally, positive reinforcement can be used. Reward or recognize workers who consistently wear their seatbelts. This could include small incentives such as gift cards or company merchandise. Publicly acknowledge and celebrate individuals and teams who have achieved high rates of seatbelt use. Use positive reinforcement to create a culture of safety and encourage workers to adopt safe behaviors. In addition to these measures, it is also important to address any underlying issues that may be contributing to the lack of seatbelt use. For example, if workers are feeling rushed or pressured to complete tasks quickly, they may be less likely to take the time to buckle up. In these cases, it may be necessary to adjust work schedules or processes to allow for more time for safety. It is also important to address any cultural beliefs or attitudes that may be discouraging seatbelt use. This can be done through education and training, as well as by promoting a positive safety culture. By implementing these measures, construction companies and safety professionals can significantly improve seatbelt use among construction workers and reduce the risk of injuries and fatalities. Understanding the reasons behind the lack of seatbelt use is the first step toward creating a safer work environment. By addressing these issues head-on and implementing effective interventions, we can protect construction workers and prevent unnecessary tragedies. Seatbelt use is not just a matter of personal safety, it is a responsibility that we all share. By working together, we can create a culture of safety where everyone prioritizes their well-being and the well-being of their colleagues. Encourage leadership to visibly support and participate in safety initiatives related to seatbelt use. When leaders consistently model safe behavior, it sends a powerful message to employees that safety is a top priority. Ensure all vehicles are equipped with seatbelt reminders that provide audible or visual alerts when seatbelts are not in use. Regularly maintain and inspect seatbelts to ensure they are in good working condition and free from damage. Address any reported issues promptly. Integrate seatbelt safety into the onboarding process for all new employees. Provide comprehensive training on the importance of seatbelt use, proper adjustment, and company policies. Use data analysis to identify trends and patterns related to seatbelt use. Track incidents, near misses, and violations to inform targeted interventions and training programs. Partner with safety organizations and experts to gain access to best practices, resources, and support for improving seatbelt safety. Encourage employees to report any safety concerns or suggestions related to seatbelt use. Create a system for addressing these concerns promptly and effectively. Make seatbelt use a regular topic of discussion at safety meetings and toolbox talks. Share information about recent incidents, best practices, and company policies. Consider implementing a buddy system where employees remind each other to buckle up before starting their vehicles. This can help create a culture of mutual support and accountability. Promote the use of seatbelts off the job as well. Encourage employees to wear seatbelts whenever they are in a vehicle, regardless of the distance or speed. By promoting a holistic approach to safety, you can help create a culture where seatbelt use is the norm, both on and off the job. Ensure that seatbelt policies are clearly communicated in multiple languages to accommodate the diverse workforce in the construction industry. Use visuals, such as posters and infographics, to reinforce key messages about seatbelt safety. Visual aids can be particularly effective for reaching employees with different learning styles and language backgrounds. Provide hands-on training that allows employees to practice adjusting and using seatbelts correctly. Supervise and observe employees in their actual work environments to identify any barriers or challenges to seatbelt use. Address any identified issues promptly and effectively. Regularly evaluate the effectiveness of seatbelt safety programs and make adjustments as needed. Seek feedback from employees to identify areas for improvement. Collaborate with insurance providers to explore opportunities for reducing premiums to improve seatbelt safety performance. Celebrate successes and recognize achievements in seatbelt safety. Positive reinforcement can help motivate employees and reinforce desired behaviors. By implementing a comprehensive and multifaceted approach to seatbelt safety, construction companies can create a safer work environment for their employees and reduce the risk of injuries and fatalities. This involves a commitment to education, enforcement, culture change, and providing convenient solutions. By working together, we can ensure that everyone returns home safely at the end of each day. Regular inspection of the seatbelts is also important to guarantee it is working well and functioning as intended. Always provide training on how to inspect seatbelts properly before use.